going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys episode 5 of our Road to Regional series here, playing the 2017 VGC format. I'm learning, I'm a noob, but we've got someone who's an expert with us today, and I'm very excited to announce them. They are a 4-time regional champion, 2-time national champion, and 7 times world qualifier. I said it to you on Twitter the other day, man. I've been binge watching your videos. We have Aaron Cybertron Zheng on the mic today, man. What's up, dude?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you for having me on this. I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too, man. Like I said, I've been watching your videos like crazy, and I encourage you guys, the aDrive Army, to please check out Aaron's channel. I can't recommend it enough, guys. Like, this guy has been my #1 source for VGC content. I've been watching your Road to Rank series pretty much every day, seeing all the teams. This team is actually inspired off a team that I saw you use, which was Gavin's team, obviously. So you have quite a bit of familiarity with most of the stuff we're going to be using today, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun, man. So guys, definitely please check the description below for Aaron's content. I know you're putting out pretty much daily Road to Ranked right now, and that's pretty exciting, so I dig it.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for watching my stuff, man. It's really meant for anyone really who's interested in VGC, whether it's beginners or experts. Really, it's just meant to be a kind of fun series where, you know, maybe you learn a thing or two while you watch. And there's a lot that goes into it, and I think I've been trying out different teams and having a good time with it, so I'm glad that people are enjoying it.
Oh, totally. So we got a couple of things for you guys real quick. Question of the day today: what is your favorite ability to use in VGC? So I'm going to throw that at you first, Aaron. And we'll see what you got going there. What's your favorite ability in this VGC 2017 format right now?
That's a good one. I think Gluttony might actually be, you know, one of the top ones because, you know, Muck is obviously the one that really likes to take advantage of that, but being able to heal 50% by using Figgy Berry with that ability when you're under 50% is incredible, and it just like survives for so darn long. And it's something that I've been using recently on my newest team, and it's definitely putting in a lot of work. Like, it's a super cool ability.
Yeah, I admittedly am using Poison Touch Muck, but with a Figgy Berry anyway, so don't judge me, but we'll get that sorted eventually. I would say for me, it's got to be Intimidate. I've noticed, especially...
Yeah, I was going to say that's the other obvious one.
I've noticed recently, just with Araquanid and Salamence, and even well, I can't wait for Incineroar to grab Intimidate.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, it just seems like it can be a game-changing ability, especially with so many physical attackers. I mean, obviously, you'd think about 50-50, but it definitely feels like it's like 70-30 sometimes, physical attackers.
Yes.
It seems like there's an abundance of them, so Intimidate really shuts them down, and that's why I think you're seeing many reasons why, but Arcanine seems to be like one of the top 5 Pokemon right now. For good reason, for that reason, mostly. That, the ability to roar, Will-O-Wisp, and obviously hit pretty hard from physical or special. There's a lot of question marks when you're facing that thing. So, pretty cool stuff there. So, I think we gotta jump into a battle now. Let's do it. I'm gonna click it. You ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
He's ready. Let's do it. We're clicking the championships battle. And I never asked you, but I gotta ask, if you have one tip, because this is always super insightful for me and everyone else, if you had one tip for someone new to the format, you know, you've been doing this for a really long time, what would that tip be if you had any little tidbits of advice?
Yeah, I'd say for people that are just trying to get into VGC, what you really want to be able to do is kind of digest and have some sense of what every Pokemon that you can go up against does. Because one of the ways to really do well in VGC is you'll look at a Pokemon and you'll be like, oh, you know, this is the set that I think it has, these are all the possible different sets, and these are all the possible different moves that it can have. Because once you have that knowledge, then, you know, making decisions in-game is a little bit easier. Of course, sometimes you might be caught off guard, sometimes people have surprises or whatnot, but in general, you know, one thing that all top VGC players can do is they can look at a Pokemon, they can tell you, okay, it'll probably have these moves with, you know, maybe a surprise or two, and that way making decisions in battle is a lot easier.
Yeah, I totally dig that, man. I totally did that. So we're going to jump into it. So we got a Ninetales, a Muck, a Marowak, we've got a Celesteela, and we got a Garchomp and a Gastro. So I'm seeing kind of like he's got some elements of anti-Trick Room here with that Marowak potentially, and that Gastrodon really could be a bit of a problem. I am carrying the Energy Ball on my Drampa, so I'm really feeling that I should try to get my Trick Room up anyway, especially dealing with that Ninetales. So I'm thinking for me here, this could be an opportunity for me to lead maybe P2 and Hariyama just to ensure the Trick Room. And then I'm thinking in the back, I'm really like Araquanid because it can handle a lot of things. And maybe Drampa, because Drampa can really take on that Gastrodon pretty well. That would be my 4. What would you say?
I think that's actually a really solid 4 here. I just want to think twice about it, but that makes a lot of sense. You know,
he's got the
Hariyama's
Muck to shut down the Lele, so... That's why I'm thinking with the Muck to stop the Lele makes that a little bit tougher. Maybe my own Muck could be useful, but what do you think? Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. I was too excited.
No, perfectly fine. I think that's a really good assessment, honestly, because Lele is super difficult to use when they have Muck because they can just switch into your Psychic Z move. And if we can eliminate the Gastrodon, then Araquanid will be super solid here. Like you said, Muck is a decent choice here, but I think Araquanid is kind of necessary for offense because it can kind of obliterate the Muck on our opponent's end. So I feel comfortable with these 4.
Cool, me too. So let's do it. So our objective here is to hopefully get that Trick Room up right off the bat. Even though he does have some slower Pokemon, our Araquanid is going to outspeed everything on his team aside from Gastro under the Trick Room anyway. So as long as we can get that up, that could be really advantageous. But we do have to be pretty careful about this Ninetales potentially setting up an Aurora Veil. It seems like he has this Garchomp Celesteela that could be rocking Earthquake, and that Celesteela could be dodging those Earthquakes. So we'll have to kind of play around that and see what he's going to lead with here. But I'm thinking, I think he's going to bring the Muck for Lele, but he's going to lead Ninetales Garchomp, so I'm not too surprised there.
Yeah, this is a pretty solid lead matchup for us, I would say, because we do, pretty much guarantee Trick Room up here. There's not much he can do, and both of his Pokemon are super speedy. The one thing that I would have to be a little bit worried about is if he's smart and switches out into one of his slower Pokemon, especially that Alolan Marowak, and in anticipation of that Trick Room, because then Min Speed Alolan Marowak actually outspeeds Min Speed Hariyama. So that's like the one concern really right now.
Yeah, so I definitely feel that. So we have a couple options here. One would be Ice Beam the Garchomp, but I think that Trick Room is very valuable. So I do want to get the Trick Room up. Now, Garchomp can carry Roar to stop our Trick Room, but it seems very unlikely. So my priority right now is I think I want to get the Fake Out off on the Ninetales to stop any potential Aurora Veils, because I think that could really mess us up. What would you do here?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the safest option, just Fake Outing Ninetales and Trick Rooming.
And we'd also break a Sash on the Ninetales too, so...
Yeah, exactly. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, so let's do that. So we're going to try to get our Trick Room off here with the Porygon2, obviously. He's going to actually protect Ninetales, so our Fake Out is a little bit wasted there. If we targeted the Garchomp, it would have been a perfect turn, but that's okay. He might have that Focus Sash intact, but at the very least, we should be able to get a Trick Room off. But he is going to go for his Z move here. Looks like Tectonic Rage. I don't think this is going to kill Porygon by any means.
Oh, it definitely shouldn't, yeah. The question is if he targets Hariyama, but I'm fine with that because this means that we have full 4 turns of Trick Room that we can take advantage of.
So let's see what he's going to do here. He is going to indeed target Hariyama. I am max HP, but I don't think we're going to live this. Hariyama is pretty bulky, but I don't know if it's that bulky. Yeah, no, that just destroyed us. So had we Fake Outed the Garchomp, that would have obviously been a perfect turn for us, but it doesn't quite work out that way. But we at least get a Trick Room off here, and I have an opportunity to either go into my Araquanid or into my Drampa. And the thing that I'm a little worried about with the Araquanid is obviously the Freeze Dry potential from Ninetales, but also I run into that same problem otherwise. So I think I almost have to go into Araquanid here over Drampa.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. The fear is that we do bring in Araquanid, if he has Gastrodon on the back, that could potentially be a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I could go Drampa Hyper Voice and then maybe Ice Beam into Garchomp and then something, and then I'm gonna take a Blizzard with the 2 of them though. That would be the only.
Yeah, without a Fire type attack on Drampa, I think we should bring in Araquanid here.
Okay, so let's do that. We're gonna go into Araquanid. Now we know that Gastrodon is very likely to be in the back, or it's got a decent chance in the back. So we're gonna have to target this move the right way. I don't think I want to use my Z move yet because I just think that's too risky.
We shouldn't. And I actually remember, we do have Poison Jab on our Araquanid, so we could actually probably just double up onto Ninetales here.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for a. Let's go for. I think I want to do Ice Beam into the Ninetales, even though T-Bolt will do more. I guess. Well, I don't think Marowak's coming in right now, so I think I'm gonna T-Bolt into Ninetales. And I think I'm going to Poison Jab into Ninetales as well. Although, yeah, let's do that. Because then if the Gastrodon comes in, then at the very least, we'll potentially get some damage off. So let's do that. We'll double attack the Ninetales to get rid of it, because we could potentially break that Sash and eliminate the opportunity for him to set up that Aurora Veil, which is a problem. So he's going to switch out the Garchomp, and it is going to be the Celesteela. So that's actually not that bad. Because if we get rid of the Ninetales right now, which did protect last turn, which we should be able to get rid of, this could be a really advantageous turn for us. So the Poison Jab comes off. That doesn't do as much as I thought it was going to.
Yeah, same.
And I don't know if this Thunderbolt's going to quite seal the deal, and it looks like it's going to come up just a little bit short. We're going to take a big Freeze Dry here. Not too terrible, but definitely not ideal.
Yeah, I think we made the correct play there, but I don't know what the role there is. But given that he's switching in Celesteela, I'm thinking maybe he doesn't have Gastrodon.
Yeah, so I have a couple options here. I could potentially double into the Celesteela with that Water Z move. I don't know if that's the right play, though. I think for this turn right now, that Ninetales protecting seems very, very likely, but he also might just double protect here.
Yeah.
So I could actually take this opportunity to switch out my Porygon into Drampa if I wanted to go a little bit more offensive. And then just go Araquanid, like just straight up Liquidation into the Ninetales just in case he doesn't protect.
I think that's a pretty solid option. I'm just wondering if he still has Gastron in the back, but you would think if he does, he would have switched it in last turn. So
yeah, so I'm gonna actually make that play because I like the idea of having Porygon2 in the back to potentially reset Trick Room. So I'm gonna just fire off a Poison Jab into the Ninetales, and I'm gonna switch out Porygon into Drampa. Now, the worst case scenario here is if he protects Ninetales and air slashes Celesteela into Araquanid. That would be a really bad turn for us, but I'm thinking he's gonna double protect to stall out Trick Room.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well.
So we'll get the Cloud9, which will negate the weather too, which is kind of nice. So he does protect.
Okay, so he does protect. But yeah, there's no switching into Gastron right now, so we know that we probably can use Liquidation pretty safely.
Oh, he's actually going to fire off a Giga Drain into the Araquanid, which is not going to do really a lot at all.
That's fine.
So that's totally cool with me. So now I'm thinking we fire off that that Z Liquidation into that Celesteela.
Yes.
And then maybe just Hyper Voice for the chip damage on everything.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, so that way we'll put a really big dent into that thing. So let's go for that Z Liquidation, Hydro Vortex into the Celesteela. If he does decide to protect on Celesteela, it's fine. We'll still get a solid chunk off, maybe like, 30% or so.
Giga Drain's pretty interesting on Celesteela. That's not something you see too often, but I think we can survive even another one, which is good.
Yeah, no, Araquanid's got some good bulk, and now that we've eliminated the hail with the Cloud9, that's pretty nice too. We don't have to worry about that as much, chipping us down.
Yeah, one thing I do want to comment on is, like, we've been making really safe plays so far, but I feel like we are in a position to do that.
Oh, here comes a Marowak, actually, which is not a bad thing for us.
Yep.
The Hyper Voice isn't going to
protect either. That's perfect.
Yeah, so we're going to get a big Liquidation off into that Celesteela, which is going to be nice. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill it unless he's running, like, an offensive variant or maybe specially defensive with, like, an AV or something. Maybe that's why he has the Giga Drain, is maybe he's Assault Vest. That's why he hasn't protected.
Yeah, the Hyper Voice did an okay amount there, but yeah, we'll see. I think this might be able to knock out. Like, this is a really strong move. So we'll see. Celesteelas are pretty bulky, but Araquanid's also really strong.
Let's see how this does. I'm curious. I don't think it's going to be enough, but it is. Wow.
Nice.
I'll take that all day, man. So we just got rid of this absolute monster. And now we know he's got Garchomp, Ninetales, and Marowak here. The Marowak obviously a bit scary, but I think we could work around it. And I believe Araquanid is faster than Marowak under Trick Room, so...
It is, yes.
Yeah, and so is Drampa. Drampa's even slower. So this is an interesting turn here because the obvious play would be Liquidation into Marowak, knock it out, Draco into Garchomp. That would be the obvious play here for me to make and just go straight offensive. I think I should drop the Draco into Garchomp either way.
Yeah, so one thing I'm thinking here is we actually probably want to set up Trick Room again because Drampa plus Porygon2 wins us the game. Araquanid does too, but Drampa's Life Orb Draco Meteor can just knock out Marowak. So he could, like, very likely double protect here. So we have two options. We can either Draco and just Liquidation, or we could switch one of our two out into Porygon2 just to put us in better positioning because it's likely he'll want to double protect here.
All right, so I'm going to make the switch from Drampa into Porygon2, and then I'm going to just fire off a Liquidation into the Marowak on the off chance he doesn't protect.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I'm sure he'll double protect here, but I agree with you there. Getting up the Trick Room again is the way we win this match, so we're going to have to do that. So let's get this Porygon2 back in. We'll see if we get that lucky special attack boost, which always seems to elude me.
Dude,
that can't happen. Hey, we got it this time.
Nice.
Great. So that's gonna guarantee that our Ice Beam will knock out the Garchomp.
Well, I think he's not protecting here with Marowak too.
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
Let's go.
So this is gonna work out really well for us. Better than I could have ever imagined. And we're gonna get rid of the Marowak there, which leaves him with just Ninetales and Garchomp. We're not out of the woods yet, but this is a pretty easy situation for me to simply click Trick Room and protect with Araquanid.
Yeah, he's gonna need some RNG to win this one at this point. As long as we don't get absurdly unlucky, I think we get this. We've got this win. But it's Pokemon; anything can happen.
I could also Wide Guard here, predicting like an Earthquake Blizzard combination.
Oh yes, actually, yes, we 100% should do Wide Guard here.
Yeah, because that'll protect our Porygon, which is the most important piece of this puzzle here, and potentially save us from being frozen from that Blizzard. Obviously, we could take the Earthquake, although I mean, he could protect Ninetales here too, but let's do that. Let's go for the Trick Room, and let's set up that wide guard because the usefulness of Araquanid is diminished here at this point in the match, and having Drampa's Hyper Voice is going to be more beneficial. So let's go for that wide guard. I like that play. And if he EQs Blizzards, we're going to look like geniuses right now.
Yeah, that's a really good assessment, actually, because Garchomp can have Rock Slide, and Rock Slide plus Blizzard is like his one way of winning.
Oh, yeah,
or
Rock Slide.
Freeze.
Oh, he's actually going to go for the Aurora Veil, so he knows that he needs that extra boost to keep him around here. And the Garchomp is going to Rock Slide, so that works out really, really well, and we are going to get our Trick Room off. So good plays. Good plays.
Yeah, that was a really good wide. I forgot we had wide guard, and so I was really happy you reminded me of that, because basically in Pokemon, yes, RNG is a thing, but I think it's something that a lot of players, especially newer players, like they think it's more prevalent than it is. And the mark of a good player is being able to put yourself in positions where you can basically deny any RNG from happening. So, because we had wide guard, he didn't have any chance of freezing us with Blizzard or Rock Slide, and as a result, we knew we could get a safe Trick Room up. So, now we're in a really good position. It should just be, pretty solid win here.
Yeah, I'm thinking just Ice Beam into the Garchomp, and then just go for the Poison Jab into, or maybe just Liquidation into Ninetales.
Yeah, either is fine.
Yeah.
And it's fine if he protects because we get the free switch in basically into our Drampa.
So the only way this goes bad is if, I guess there's no way it can go bad. I'm trying to think of like a scenario where it goes bad, but the Ninetales won't have an opportunity to attack us. And the Garchomp may live the Ice Beam because of the Aurora Veil. In fact, I'm expecting it to. But even if it did, the Ninetales can't do anything, and then he's still left with just a Garchomp sitting on the field. So here comes that Liquidation. We'll knock out the Ninetales. We're sitting in a pretty good spot here, because now we can just Liquidation, Ice Beam into Garchomp, and that, I think, will be enough, because Garchomp is not going to like that. Even under Aurora Veil, I don't think he's living these 2 hits.
Yeah, 100% not. And this game was really won by the fact that we were able to get Trick Room up twice. I think, one thing I want to comment on is, sometimes in VGC, you might end up looking a bit silly. For example, that first turn, it's like, oh no, we lost Hariyama, and, and for what? But we were able to get Trick Room up successfully. We were able to deduce that there was no Gastron in the back, and as a result, that means that Araquanid could attack a lot easier. And this is why I really think you made the right Pokemon choice in Team Preview, because Araquanid plus Drampa puts on so much pressure against our opponent's entire team. And we even had Energy Ball for the potential Gastron in the back. So
that's why Carriot got that cheeky Energy Ball on my Drampa, which it seems like for some reason I guess it's just not commonplace right now, because Drampa does have a pretty big move pool, and he's going to forfeit. So we'll pick up that nice win and move to 9 and 2, which I'll take all day, every day. But it seems like Energy Ball on Drampa doesn't seem to be as predictable, so I kind of like that, having that as as kind of a like little secret trick there, because it seems like every time I have Drampa versus Gastro, they always stay in and just let me knock them out. So I'm not gonna complain.
The thing is, even if they switch out, the thing is, Drampa just exerts a lot of pressure against Gastrodon. If the Gastrodon doesn't have Ice Beam, which sometimes is the case, we've seen a lot of bulkier Gastrodons with like Scald, Recover, even Z Stockpile, Toxic, etc., and Protect. So if they don't have Ice Beam, then they're basically forced to switch back out because they can't even do anything offensively. So you can use that as a pivot as well. And VGC a lot of the times is about maintaining good positioning and putting yourself in positions where you can make safe plays. Because sometimes people think it's all about fancy predictions and trying to get ahead, but a lot of the times it's assessing the board position and putting yourself in places where you can just make safe plays and still come out ahead. And that was kind of the case in that last game.
That was the knowledge right there, man. That was the knowledge right there. All right, so let's jump into one more here. Looks like we'll probably be able to squeeze in a full another battle here. And we're feeling good, man. 9 and 2 on my way to St. Louis, man. Let's keep it going.
There we go.
We gotta keep it going, man.
Yeah, I think that you made all the right calls that last game, so I was really pleased about that. I was a little bit scared when we weren't able to knock out the Ninetales, because we would have been so far ahead if we did, but we managed to pull through.
Yeah, man, that Poison Jab just came up a little short. So this guy's got his Finny, his Coco, Garchomp, Celesteela, and then he's got some Trick Room options there with Marowak and P2. So pretty scary stuff here. I do think that the priority probably needs to be to set that Trick Room again. I do like Drampa in this match for a couple of reasons, but I think I like Muck a lot here. Let's think about this for a second. I think Lele could actually put in some work too. This is one of those tough ones. For me, I'm thinking that I would potentially lead maybe like P2, Lele, and then like put Muck and maybe Drampa in the back kind of thing. What would you do? Because this is a little bit tricky. I kind of always run into problems against these like pseudo Trick Room teams.
Yeah, this isn't an easy team preview by any means, especially because we don't know what sets our opponent's running. So the issue with Lele is, if he has the Feeny, then he can win the terrain war. I think I would definitely lead Porygon here for sure.
Yeah.
Figuring out what the second one to lead with is tricky though, because I expect maybe like Coco Garchomp. But you know what? Let's go with Lele. Let's try it out.
Okay. And then
I'd want to go Hariyama. But yeah, Muck is definitely the call, and it's between Drampa and Araquanid here.
Yeah,
I like Araquanid more actually.
I'm gonna go with Araquanid too because I feel like that that Marowak could be a problem otherwise. So let's do that.
Yeah.
And Drampa is gonna have a hard time against the Marowak, and it's really not gonna put too much offensive pressure on, aside from maybe the Garchomp. But I do like one of the things I do like about Drampa is the fact that it does resist Coco's electric moves. So that gives me at least something because this team does lack that. It does lack a really reliable switch into Coco, which is kind of weird considering that it's like one of the most prevalent Pokemon. So that's maybe something I need to tweak at some point. With this team because it is kind of hard to deal with it, especially considering how fast it is unless I do get the Trick Room up. But he's gonna lead Finny Marowak actually, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, not a lead I was anticipating, but that's not too bad. The issue is this is what I was fearing, so he will get the Misty Terrain up, but I think that's okay here. Let's see. Download gives us probably, okay, special attack actually. Good.
So kind of a couple options here. If I don't protect with Lele, then it dies to Marowak, and I don't think I'll be able to knock out the Marowak simply with a Psyche MZ move.
Yeah.
So that does put me in a bit of a tough spot, but what I can do is I could simply just protect Trick Room here, or I'm thinking that I could double Thunderbolt into Finny. Oh, no, I can't because of Marowak. Never mind, I can't. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's why we talk these things out. I don't know. What would you do? We're short on time here.
Yeah, so I wouldn't protect Trick Room here. I think I would maybe Trick Room and attack with Lele, hoping he actually knocks us out.
You think should I use that Psychic Z move?
I think we should save it.
Okay, so I'm going to just fire off a Psychic into the Marowak, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that and kind of see where we end up there. Yeah, maybe he won't predict the... Maybe he'll think I'm not going to attack with... I don't know. He's going to Dazzling Gleam, which actually is fine with me. We'll see if he specs. That did quite a bit. And he's going to sub with Marowak.
Oh, wow.
Which isn't as bad as it could be. And we are going to get the Trick Room up, which does make the Marowak faster than my Lele now, which is a bit scary because now he can simply knock me out.
Yeah, so the sub was not something I was anticipating, and that's actually really annoying because we would have been in a pretty nice position if we actually just attacked, but there wasn't much Porygon could do there. Who do we have in the back again?
So we're sitting with Muck and Araquanid in the back. So I could actually switch Lele into Muck here to take a potential Shadow Bone.
Yeah, the concern is Marowak is still just faster. So we could do a pretty silly play here and protect Lele and reverse Trick Room, but then he could get the better of us by just targeting the Porygon2 slot, because he could double up on Porygon here.
So what? Oof.
I would Trick Room and actually probably Psychic Marowak. This is tough because we're running out of time.
Okay, I tried it. I got the time in. I think this is gonna be tough. He's actually gonna protect Marowak here.
That's actually fine because he can't knock us out. So this actually works out in our favor.
All right. Still have to deal with that. But here comes that Finny Dazzling Gleam, which is just gonna keep firing off here, and that's gonna hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And we'll Psychic into that. Fine. And we reverse Trick Room. Okay, so very interesting set of plays there.
So this is actually pretty good because now I think what we want to do is actually just recover up with Porygon and just launch another Psychic into Marowak. Breaking that substitute's really important. We know the Feeny is probably specs given out let its damage output, so we can use that to our advantage because we've got the Muck in the back and Marowak's protected this turn.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's do that. We'll try to knock out this substitute here and you know, eliminate the threat of this Marowak here, because that was interesting, the substitute. And here comes the Dazzling Gleam, which is going to knock out the Lele here, and we'll see if P2 can hang on. I don't know where the speed is. He's actually going to Flare Blitz, yeah. So that didn't work out too well. So this is going to be a tough one, and we're not hanging on there. Yeah. So now here we are without Trick Room. That's going to be tough. And
yeah, I wasn't sure how fast this Marowak was relative to the Porygon2. That was something I actually should have double checked. So, okay. It's not over yet, but that makes this a lot trickier.
So I'm thinking what I have to do here is I could easily wide guard with Araquanid, which is nice. That'll protect the Muck from the Dazzling Gleam.
Yes.
And then maybe just go for the knockoff into Marowak, but I have a feeling he's going to protect this turn.
Who does he have in the back?
He could potentially have Finny, I'm sorry, Coco, Garchomp, Celesteela, and P2.
Okay. So we're still in this. I'm just the Chomp is the main concern.
I think I'm gonna Poison Jab into Finny here.
Yeah, I really want to. I feel like Marowak, but if I'm him, I actually don't protect with Marowak just to try to get an attack off, and we can't lose Muck right now. So the safe play is to knock off Marowak.
Oh, I have Shadow Sneak. I have Shadow Sneak.
Actually, yeah, let's go for that.
Let's go for Shadow Sneak into that, and I'm just gonna Wide Guard to protect both.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's actually click it
He's
before the
probably
time
gonna
runs
switch
out.
out Feeny though. If I could have, I would consider liquidationing. Yeah, he does switch out. Ugh.
Into Celesteela, which would have been nice to hit that liquidation. The thought crossed my mind, but it's tough to talk out the turns and make those decisions with the limited time we have. But it looks like he didn't protect Marowak, so we are going to connect the Shadow Sneak here and knock out the Marowak, which is nice. At least we get rid of that.
A lot of this actually hinges off what his fourth Pokemon is, because we're still definitely in this one, especially with Specs Feeny. Like Muck can make pretty easy work of that. And Wide Guard, he can't just use Earthquake or Dazzling Gleam. I'm just afraid.
It is Garchomp, yeah. So that's the bummer, because if we still had the other dude, we would be in good shape. So I'm thinking what I can do here is I'm thinking protecting with Muck, because that Groundium Z move is like really scary. So protect Muck, and then I'm thinking I just Z Liquidation into Garchomp.
Yeah, so this is kind of a 50-50 play where it's like the obvious move for him is to just Z Muck, and so he, in anticipation of that, might protect his Garchomp, expecting the protect from Muck, and then the next turn we'd have to land a double. So you can either make the simple play, it's a 50-50 really of protecting, or you can just go for the read of knockoffing Celesteela and going for the Z Liquidation onto Chomp.
I'm gonna make the protect play with Muck and hope that we make the right play here.
All right.
I'm gonna make that play, and he does make the protect, and that's why you should listen to Aaron.
Making the risk.
That's why we should have listened to Aaron, guys, because we would have actually had a good turn there if I listened. I should have. But he's gonna lead seed into the Araquanid.
We avoid the leech seed. But that's a play where it's really difficult to call. I mean, it's literally a 50-50. Like, because if he just Z moves us, then we lose the game anyway. If we do protect. So it's one of those where it's like your opponent has the advantage in making the move because they're basically with the faster Pokemon. And so that's not one you can feel too bad about because it's like you either get the right call. It's basically like there are only two options that can really happen there. Of course, we could still land a double protect. If we land the double, I think we actually still win the game.
So let's do that. We're gonna roll with the double protect here, and we're gonna hope for the best. And I'm feeling it, man. I think we're gonna land it. So I'm feeling good about it.
I never land a double protect, so if we can get this, I
think we're gonna land it. Yes! That's it right there. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see. And he does go for that Z Tectonic Rage. So we do predict that well. We just did it on the wrong turn, or I did it on the wrong turn. But this, if all goes well here, we'll actually live and then activate the Figgy Berry because I'm not Gluttony, so it's a bit annoying. But
actually, yeah, that will be tricky because I think this will do around. Actually, I would say 50% or so, but let's see.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna get the Figgy, but maybe we'll get super lucky. No, it's not gonna do enough. It actually doesn't even do half, so it didn't really make a difference there. But he's gonna Leech Seed, and he does go into the Araquanid here, so he's trying to pull some shenanigans there. But we can Liquidation. This will knock out the Garchomp, so we're still in it. We are still in it. If that knocks out the Garchomp, but it doesn't. My goodness.
Shadow Sneak should be able to pick up the knockout, though, I think.
Yeah, I think he knows the Shadow Sneak is headed his way, though.
Right, so he could protect.
I'm gonna go for the knockoff into Celesteela right now, I think, instead of going for the Shadow Sneak.
See, the risk there is...
I guess I don't lose anything by Shadow Sneaking, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a risk versus reward. Like, I think it's very tempting. It's probable that he just protects Garchomp here, but if he doesn't, and he gets an Earthquake off, we lose the game 100%.
Yeah, so fair
I would
enough.
just Liquidation and still just safely Shadow Sneak. He does protect, yeah, so... We could have made a really hard read there, but I'm a player that doesn't like to make those reads when it's completely unnecessary because he could very easily have Earthquaked, and that's an instant lose for us.
And he's going to Leech Seed, so he's getting this double Leech Seed here, and I don't know if we're going to be able to wear down this Celesteela with him having 2 Leech Seeds, especially considering I'm sure he's got Protect, but we'll see how it goes. That Liquidation does a decent amount, but with leftovers and 2 Leech Seeds, this one's looking a bit improbable, but I think we'll hang in here and see if we can still pull it back.
Yeah, without the Figgy Berry, it's actually super tough here because I think a Moonblast actually just knocks Muck out. And that's really frustrating. Yeah, I wasn't expecting Garchomp to survive that Liquidation, to be honest. I'm thinking that might be a damage roll there, but we did get lucky with the double protect, of course.
So we're gonna Shadow Sneak into Garchomp again for the same purposes here, and I think I just basically have to Liquidation Celesteela, but I know he's gonna protect, but I don't think there's anything else we could do about it.
You know, one really interesting play is, so with the, we're gonna attack into Garchomp and we're gonna take some damage from Rough Skin, presumably that he has it. And then if we're expecting a protect on Celesteela, we could actually Poison Jab our own Muck to maybe bring it down to Figgy range.
Huh.
Because at this point, that's the only way I can see us winning this one.
All right, let's try some shenanigans. Let's do it. Let's Poison Jab our own Muck here. We're gonna Shadow Sneak, and before he just
he doesn't protect with Celesteela though, so if he targets Muck, we could just be screwed here.
We're just done anyway. But all right, we'll see how it goes. We get rid of the Garchomp at least. We're gonna pull out those pro plays here. Here comes the Heavy Slam, and that is gonna go into the Muck, and I don't think we're living that. Nah, we're not living it. So we're gonna call that one game, man. But it's okay, man. It's okay. We're gonna. I'll just update the loss now because I don't think we're pulling it back. I'm surprised he didn't actually protect there. I think that maybe he predicted the Poison Jab. That's what it was.
Yeah, well, he's in a position where because he's gotten the double Leech Seeds, even if we're doing damage to him, he's not taking that much in return. So, yeah, I mean, I think the main point in this game, well, first of all, I was a little bit caught off guard by Marowak outspeeding the Porygon and just knocking us out. And that was something I should have anticipated a little bit better. And the Substitute, like, that completely caught me off guard, too. Because if you didn't have Sub, then what happens is, you know, we can kind of get a safe switch in under Trick Room and kind of just start doing things. But that was bad. And then I would say the other really tough call was just the 50-50 on protecting Muck. Because if we made that call correctly, then we eliminate Garchomp completely. He doesn't... he only does, you know, like around 50% to Muck. And having Figgy definitely would have been pretty helpful here. Or sorry, having Gluttony because we'd have been able to heal back. But as a result, because it was, you know, we have to kind of fall into that 25% range, he was able to kind of knock us out before that.
Yeah, so definitely need to rebreed that Muck and try to get the Gluttony one. I don't know. I really thought the Poison Jab would be viable, and I was messing around with Poison Jab variants, but I know that the Gluttony one seems to be, you know, what people are rocking right now. So either way, we're gonna take a win and a loss. Not too bad though. I feel pretty good about that, man. I think I learned some good stuff there, and hopefully you guys, the audience, did as well. Aaron, thank you so much, man, for joining us on this episode, and I really, really hope you'll join us again in the future. That would be awesome. And guys, do me a favor, please. I can't emphasize it enough. Please check out Cybertron's channel in the description below. Definitely drop him a sub on YouTube, hit him up on Twitter. I'm telling you guys, like, I genuinely mean it. I've been watching his videos like crazy. You guys can learn some really good stuff there, and I think it'll be beneficial for everyone. So thank you, man. Do you have any final words before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much for having me. And I think something that's good is, you know, even though we took a loss, it's always really good to kind of reflect on our losses and look at how we can improve. And that's one way that, you know, it's the best way to get better at VGC, right? That's why I actually think losing games is super important, because winning is great, but losing you get so much more knowledge and information from. So I think like just reevaluating that last game, it was a super tricky game, to be quite honest with you, because we didn't know the speeds of anything. For example, how fast the Marowak was. We didn't know whether he would have brought that Porygon2 or not. And I think he actually went with that lead expecting a Hariyama Porygon2 lead. So the Lele actually ended up being a pretty nice call there, but Sub on Marowak completely caught us off guard.
Yeah, had we went for the Psychium Z into that Marowak, we probably would have knocked it out and eliminated that Sub, and that could have changed the whole match. But hindsight, obviously 2020, right? So
exactly. Like, Sub on Marowak is not something you often predict, because the typical moveset is Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, Boomerang, and occasionally you'll see something like Perish Song or Swords Dance. But Sub definitely not the most common, but it's something that, you know, that's why, like I said, you know, you want to be able to expect everything in VGC, but sometimes, especially in Best of One, you can get caught off guard. And sometimes those surprises alone are a lot, you know, can really carry you. But I would say the other big play was we had a chance to knock out the Celesteela on the switch in when Feeny was switching out. And because we were contemplating going for the Z Liquidation, but we just kind of ran out of time. So that's the other tricky thing, right? Timer in VGC is something that's very important. You actually really have to consider that, because sometimes you don't get to make the plays you want when you kind of run out of time. And so managing your time is really important. It's obviously a little bit tricky when you have two people talking and you want to talk through every play, but
it's really
I
tough.
would say those are really fun episodes though, and I think there's a lot to take away from that, and I'm glad we got to get some fun games in.
Yeah, man, definitely. And going back to that timer, I gotta say that, what is it, a 45-second timer? Oh my god, I feel the pressure, because I don't know, in singles, it's 90 seconds most of the time. I think it fluctuates like 75, 90 or whatever. And that's the timer I usually do. And I have my calculator open. I'm doing damage calcs in between turns. I'm like calcing out all the different scenarios and stuff when I do these league matches. But we don't have the time to do that here. So it's a totally different animal. And I really like that actually about VGC is that you know, in the league format, everyone's calcing. Everyone has their calcs done. Everyone knows, you know, you have a lot more time between moves. But with this, the pressure really is on to make that move. And not only make the move for one Pokemon, but to make the move for two Pokemon. And in that timer, it's very tough. And I actually think that, kind of going back on your point here, that it's actually probably one of the toughest parts that I'm dealing with right now is dealing with the timer. And then the second thing is keeping in mind what they could have in the back to switch in, because I feel like switching isn't as common in VGC, but it can be such a great tactic if used right. And if you're not, like we saw in this last match, if you're not willing to make those predictions and have an awareness of what they have in the back, then you're going to put yourself at a disadvantage. So
yep, those are all really good points, and that's why VGC I think is such a fun format, so dynamic. And 2017 is really one of the best formats we've had in a long time, maybe even ever, just because of the amount of strategies that are really viable, all these new cool Pokemon, Z moves, etc. So some really good points there. I mean, I think one last thing I'd want to bring up is, for example, when I play any battles online or obviously in real life tournaments, like I actually don't have the damage calc like open to me. I don't use one either, specifically because I think it's important for you to kind of guess how much damage an attack will do to you. So that's a pretty important thing to keep in mind as well. And like you said, with the timer, like it's hard to even calc a single move on how much damage things can do. So yeah, you know, VGC a lot of the times about the element of surprise, and also trying to one way to, you know, play against that is trying to expect what your opponent can do. Sometimes, you know, you really just get caught off guard, like that Marowak being super speedy, like outspeeding our Porygon2, I was honestly caught off guard by, and there was so much that was in there. But overall, yeah, definitely a really fun one to learn from, and that's the beauty of VGC. If you feel like you're constantly learning from every battle that you have.
Yeah, totally, man. So that is that, guys. Shedding all the good news, all the good knowledge today from Aaron. Thank you again, man. One more time. Thank you again, dude, for joining me. Hopefully we can have you on in another episode with a new team and all that good stuff, maybe in a few weeks or something. But thank you guys again for watching. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Don't forget our question of the day. And one more time, please check out the channel in the description below. Drop him a sub. I'm sure he would appreciate that, and I would appreciate it because he took the time to come hang out with us here in the aDrive Army. So thank you, guys. That's going to be it for me, guys. My name is Dan. I'll go by aDrive, and I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.